Dan, we are going to be playing We're Not Really Strangers, kind of getting to know each other a bit,
Sure,
maybe
great.
diving a little deeper.
They would not let me do that as a grown man now. That's crazy. Imagine if I just wrote, fuck you. Hi, I'm Dan Radcliffe, and today I will be playing We're Not Really Strangers with CBR.
What do we got here? What compliment do you think I hear the most?
Sorry, just immediately looking you up and down. You got nice eyes and a nice smile.
Eyes were the
Yeah.
answer, yes.
There you go.
Well, I've got bluish green, you've got blue eyes.
Yeah.
Do you get that a lot?
I get, God, your eyes are very blue, and I get, God, your eyes are very big a lot as well, which is it's another thing that me and Elijah would have in common, which is I think that's the, you know, probably the compliment I get the most is you were great in Lord of the Rings.
Have you two ever talked about kind of getting mixed up?
Yes, I did a really nice interview with him once, and I really like him and felt so bad that we have been mixed up so much, because also I was getting it when, at the start of Potter, when Lord of the Rings was coming out, he was, you know, a man in his 20s. I was 12 or 13, and the fact, and like, I don't, you know, a 13-year-old doesn't mind getting mistaken for a man in his 20s. I can only imagine it would have been very annoying for a 20-year-old to be mistaken for a child. So, you know, but he's very, very gracious and always, you know, I feel like we've got very similar outlooks on our careers, and that we just do what we like, and you know, but yeah, I will always be, he's a very nice person to get mistaken for as well. You know, he's got a lovely reputation and he's done lovely, great films, so it's nice to be able to go like, yes, I'm glad you enjoyed Lord of the Rings, because I never want to rob somebody of the joy that they think they've met Elijah Wood, and they think that's made their day. So I'll just be like, yep.
As someone who was an actor at such an early age, was there anything that you wanted to be other than an actor, or was that kind of always the thing?
It's so hard to know, because I sort of had this like path presented to me when I was so young. So I don't know exactly. I mean, I think on the first Harry Potter film, actually, I really wanted to be a stuntman. Like, I met the stunt guys, and I saw that they're like, honestly, like, if you ever find yourself on a film set, stunts are like one of the departments to hang out with. They are very fun. They will just sit around telling stories about all the crazy, stupid stuff they've done in their lives, and it's great.
Do you have a favorite stunt that you've done throughout your career?
Yeah, I mean, I've done some really cool ones. I've gotten to do more stunts than most actors ever get to do, and I got to do so many stunts as a child. I'm like, they would not let me do that as a grown man now. That's crazy. So I got to do I'm gonna go ahead and say that it was 40 foot. It may have been 35, but we can round up. I remember we went up in what we call a cherry picker in the UK, but might not be called that, like a JCB crane. When you get up there, you're like, oh, wow, oh no, I've said that I would do this. And I was 14 and I wanted to impress all the stunt guys, so I was like, yeah, I can do that. Maybe I was a bit old, maybe I was like 15 or 16. But I remember getting up there and being like, man, I shouldn't have said yes to this. But then we did it, and we did it 2 more times, and it was great. And it's, you know, absolutely a thing that they would never let me do now. I'm so glad I got to do that.
But you were too young to have it in your contract, right?
Oh, yeah. You can do crazy things to kids. Ooh, what does my phone wallpaper tell you about me?
Do you think it does tell something about
I think
you?
it tells you that I'm really dull, because it's the default
like a
screen
default,
that
okay.
it comes back with.
So
Like, I don't care.
I'm gonna say that it just says you are not concerned about materialistic things.
Sure, that's a really nice reading of it.
You're, you know, it's a phone. It does what you need it to be. It doesn't need to be anything more than that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also just that, like, I don't know, if it's a photo from my life, I don't want people seeing it unless I want them to. But the inside, it's a photo of my girlfriend and my son, but we don't get to see that.
As a child, what did you think I wanted to be?
What do you think you wanted to be?
What did you think I wanted to be?
Is where you are a pretty accurate representation of where you want it to be?
It's not, no.
Okay, so something more, is it like more that like a child? What age, what kind of child?
Yeah, I would say between like maybe like 10 to 13.
Actor?
No,
okay.
surprisingly no.
Smart. High-end restaurateur?
No, but that would be cool. So growing up at the Jersey Shore, I was always around the beach and the ocean, so I wanted to be a marine biologist.
Oh, cool. Are you still into fish?
I'm into the beach and the ocean,
cool.
But exploring, you know, and just it just sounded like too much work.
Ooh. What question are you trying to answer most in your life right now?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Question.
You're running this. You could have taken this out.
I could have. maybe I thought that I was going to ask you this.
Oh, okay.
What brings me joy?
Great.
Because I think I want to find that joy in life, and I don't want it to rely solely on career or solely on friendships so I guess I'm trying to find that balance of what actually brings me joy instead of things that I think would that don't actually.
That's honestly the question that everybody should be asking themselves in their life all the time. I do think there's happiness as a goal is really underrated. I feel like people go for wealth or fame because they think that those things will get happiness. No. Happiness is a separate thing that you kind of need to work on its own individual track.
How has your idea of happiness evolved throughout your life?
I think it's become less and less dependent on work. I think that's my entire happiness was based on where I was working, who I was working with, and how work was going for so long. And then my 20s was really a journey of realizing that I love my job, but actually I never look back at the films that I do. It's not, I don't get the kind of lasting joy from that maybe other people do I think most actors don't watch their own stuff. So yeah, I feel like figuring out that actually my joy is with the people in my life and ultimately, I'm a very, very simple creature. I just went on vacation with with my partner and our kid and a couple of couple friends and their children as well, and truly just hanging out with a bunch of friends is it's peak. That's the best that life has to offer, in my opinion.
All right, let's see. Dare your partner to do something outside of their comfort zone in the next week.
No, I think I hated Truth or Dare as a kid for that very reason.
What's outside your comfort zone?
It's talking about emotions. I should go to therapy. I dare you to go to therapy, and you should dare me to also book a therapy session because I have let it fall by the wayside and I should get back to it.
Maybe we should just do couples therapy.
Let's do couples therapy together. That's what we do.
Good?
Done. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, bro.
Awesome.
Whoa. Sorry, dude. Wild card. It just says admit something.
Admit something.
Admit something.
Okay. What do I want to admit?
That's a good question. Have you killed anyone?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
This would be a great time to tell us.
Okay. I mean, this is more light than serious.
Okay.
But I drink iced coffee all year round. Is that?
Dude. Oh, okay. So all year round, even when it's winter. I'm very similar to you in that it will have to be hard to hold before I'm okay, give me a hot coffee. If it's snowing out, I'll generally switch to hot, but I am also an iced person all year round most of the time. I will admit to something that I've just remembered as I was picking up this card, which is that I used to do magic when I was a kid. I was 13 or 14, and on the third film, so I guess I must have been about 14, on the third film, Alfonso Cuarón had the very good idea to bring in an actual magician, Paul Keeve, who could help with doing practical magic effects on set. And so he taught me a bunch of tricks, some of which I really honed and was actually very good at them for a while. And it meant that there's a very small group of people, but there's a couple of people who were in a couple of restaurants I was in when I was about that age, where I just started going around tables and doing card tricks to poor, unsuspecting people who were just trying to enjoy their dinner. And suddenly, 14-year-old Harry Potter was just coming up being you want to see a magic trick? So there you go. I've admitted it. That's something that I did for a while.
Did you also learn any magic tricks on Now You See Me Too?
I did. I learned a couple. My guy was supposed to be crap at magic in that film, so I didn't have to learn any particularly good ones. But it was more that I learned I was gonna do it now, and then I'll f it up. But there's a thing where my character flicks a card from one hand and catches it in the other, which I can get right about 50% of the time. But
okay.
But nothing on that. Jesse, I know when they were promoting the third one, Jesse's been doing pop-up magic shows.
He was out here in New York.
He can really do some stuff. And Dave Franco, I remember can really can throw cards incredibly well. I remember from that film, he got amazingly good at that.
Do you think the image you have of yourself matches the image people see you as?
I think by and large, I think it's always tricky. The perception of what you are as a person that is famous is never going to be who you really are. It's going to be a version of yourself, probably. I think for me, one of the things I've always been fairly good at is just kind of remaining myself in these type of situations, and so I think that the impression people have of me is quite accurate, if incomplete, because there's always going to be stuff about my life that I'm not going to tell you. But like, so I think I've always been like a matter of keeping my private life private whilst being generally like who I am, I think has always kind of been one of the things that I've been good at. And it comes about through necessity, because it's just so, like, if I was coming into every press day thinking like, okay, now I've got to be like this persona or this thing that I want people to see me as, that's just exhausting and too much work. So I feel like it's just easier to be yourself.
Let's see, what do we got here? What is the most unexplainable thing that's ever happened to you?
I mean, my entire life. Getting Harry Potter. I mean, like, genuinely, like, I don't know what's the... Yeah, actually, that fits. Unexplainable fits that really well. So I think having a kid is the best thing that's ever happened to me, and my son is the best thing that's ever happened to me. And there is something I've realized. I think that the reason you hear parents like complain so much is that all the negative stuff about having a kid, like, you know, you're tired or you're stressed or whatever it is very explainable. Like, they're all feelings that everyone can relate to. And the good stuff about having a kid is like almost impossible to articulate, because it is so profound and massive and sort of overwhelming. But yeah, I mean, I 100% like, and both the best and least articulatable thing that I've ever had happen to me is becoming a dad. Ooh, what do you think I fear the most?
You fear, based on this conversation, not having that balance of fulfilling and with your girlfriend and son.
Yeah, that's very, very accurate. I think that it's that, and, which you could not have guessed from this conversation, Yellowstone volcano.
Interesting. Where did that come
Dude,
from?
do you know how late we are for a massive explosion that will take off like the entire half of this country is going to be covered in ash? It's really like, don't watch the National Geographic shows about Yellowstone. It really, like, at some point, nuclear war, what I was scared of as a kid, was replaced by the looming threat of Yellowstone volcano. So yeah, like, not having the right kind of work-life balance and Yellowstone volcano.
What do I need to hear right now? Come on, you know me.
Oh, yeah, right. Don't beat yourself up for not having been a marine biologist. You're doing great.
That, you know what, that's good advice. And I'm gonna take the first half of this is just don't beat yourself up.
Yeah.
I do get hard on myself
Yeah.
a lot. And
Everyone does. And it's good to be your own worst critic, but also give yourself a break.
Yes, I agree. Okay, I'm gonna tell you something that you need to hear right
Okay.
now. Is that you've made a lot of people in this world very happy, and
Thank you.
I just want you to know how much you mean to a lot of people.
Thank you. That's very nice. I do. I get people saying things like that to me, and it's always very hard to know how to react, but it's always very lovely. Like, I've always said I'm very lucky to be famous for something that, like, most people really love. Like, it's a nice thing to have, like, to have been a part of people's childhoods in the way that those films mean that me, Emma Rupert, and every one of those movies were. It's always humbling when people come up and say, like, thank you for my childhood, because you want to go, like, you really did it. Like, we didn't do anything, but thank you. But it's always, yeah, it's a lovely thing to hear. So thank you.
Okay, we're gonna do the final card here.
Card, yeah.
You ready?
Yeah, okay.
Each player, me and you,
Yeah.
write a message to the other,
Okay.
fold and exchange, open only once you two have parted.
Ooh, okay. Imagine if I just wrote, fuck you. So, all right,
Alrighty.
look at it later.
Well, we're no longer strangers.
Yeah. The Fall and Rise of Reggie Dinkins premieres on February the 23rd with 2 back-to-back episodes at 8 p.m. on NBC. Make sure you watch.